In the days when the land still listened to the gods, there was a power that guided the hands of men. His name was Ikenga, the spirit of strength, discipline, and right action. To honor Ikenga was to prosper. To disobey him was to invite destruction. The people of Okwuru land did not rise by chance. No kingdom becomes powerful by accident. No warriors become feared without a source. No king commands respect without an unseen foundation. Their barns were full. Grain overflowed like blessing. Goats multiplied. Children laughed without hunger. Their warriors were feared. When they marched, the earth itself seemed to step aside. Their king was respected. His word did not tremble. His throne did not shake. But power always has a root, and the root of Okwuru's strength was not the king. It was not the warriors. It was not the wealth. It was Ikenga, the spirit of strength, the keeper of discipline, the silent judge.
All hail Ikenga! Ikenga, our God!
Before every harvest, they bowed. Before every war, they returned. Before every victory, they remembered. Because they understood something most men forget. Strength does not belong to the arm that carries it. It belongs to the source that gives it. But prosperity has a dangerous side. When barns stay full too long, men forget who filled them. When victory becomes normal, gratitude becomes optional. And in the center of this rising pride stood one man, Amadi, strongest among warriors, fastest in battle, unmatched in combat. His name alone frightened enemies. But something else was growing inside him, a quiet rebellion. Amadi began to believe that the strength in his arm came from his own blood, not from the shrine, not from the covenant, not from Ikenga. When elders warned him, he laughed. When the priest spoke of discipline, he turned away. And when the day of ritual approached, he did not kneel. And that was the moment the crack began. The ritual day came. The sun rose. The shrine stood ready. The oil was prepared. The drums waited to be struck. And no one showed up. No footsteps on the red earth. No chants in the morning air. No bowed heads. Ikenga waited. The carved eyes of the spirit stared into an empty shrine. Silence answered. In the palace, the elders spoke. This is not wise, but pride speaks louder than wisdom when power has grown comfortable. Against counsel, against tradition, against warning, the king chose war. He rose from his throne. He lifted his staff. And before his warriors, he declared,
"My strength is too much,
my strength is enough." Those words did not echo in the hall. They echoed in the spirit realm. But strength without discipline is only chaos wearing confidence. The battle that was meant to bring glory brought confusion. What was planned as victory became disorder. Spears snapped, shields splintered, warriors fell. Amadi, the unstoppable, tasted fear for the first time. And far away from the battlefield, something else was happening. The wind changed, the soil hardened, the earth itself began to reject the people. Crops refused to rise. Palm wine turned bitter. Goats would not breed. Because when covenant is broken, consequences do not ask permission. Back in the shrine, a sound was heard. The raised arm of Ikenga, the arm that symbolized strength, split from the body. And when Ikenga's arm finally broke, the land broke with it. Hunger does not knock. It enters quietly. It sits in the corner of the house, and it waits. The barns that once overflowed now echoed, empty. Children who once ran through the village now lay weak beside cold fires, and the proud began to bend. On the battlefield, Amadi, the arm of Okwuru, did not rise again. His spear had shattered. His leg was crushed beneath fallen warriors. Blood darkened the red earth beneath him. The man who once mocked the shrine now stared helplessly at the sky. He tried to lift his arm. It would not answer him. Strength had left the strong, and in that dust, for the first time in his life, Amadi wept. Back in the palace, there were no songs, no praise, no drums. The king sat alone. Eze Okwara, whose voice once shook halls, now heard only silence. Outside his gates, the people whispered, "Why has Ikenga turned away?" And when hunger reached even the palace, the king understood. He removed his crown, not in secret, not in darkness, but before the same people who once shouted his name. Dust touched the head that once wore coral. The warrior dropped his spear. The king removed his crown, and the people finally remembered what prosperity had made them forget. That strength is not noise. It is not muscle. It is not pride. Strength is obedience. Strength is restraint. Strength is knowing that power borrowed must be honored. With trembling hands, the elders returned to the shrine. The broken arm of Ikenga lay on the floor like a warning carved in wood. No one spoke loudly. No one argued. Even the wind seemed to wait. Palm oil was poured. Tears mixed with it. The priest did not shout this time. He whispered, because broken men do not need noise to repent. They repaired what pride had broken, but restoration did not come instantly. The sky remained gray, the soil remained hard. Because forgiveness is not magic. It is alignment. And only when the village knelt as one, only when Amadi, wounded and carried, bowed his head before the shrine, only when the king placed his crown at the feet of Ikenga, did the wind change. The first drop of water struck the earth like mercy, then another, then many. And the land breathed again. Crops rose, children stood, drums returned. But something was different. They were no longer proud. They were disciplined. Because when discipline is broken, strength turns against its owner. And the people of Okwuru never forgot again. The rains returned. The crops rose again. The drums found their rhythm. Okwuru breathed once more. But scars do not disappear simply because the storm has passed. Amadi did not die on the battlefield. He was carried home, his leg healed, but never fully. His arm regained movement, but never its former power. The strongest warrior in Okwuru now walked with a staff, and every step he took reminded him, strength is borrowed. In the season after the rains, Amadi's wife bore him a son. The child did not cry at birth. He stared, eyes wide, unblinking. The midwives whispered. The priest was summoned. On the boy's right arm, just below the shoulder, was a birthmark, the shape of a raised arm, the same arm that had once broken on the shrine floor. The priest closed his eyes. The air inside the hut grew heavy, and then he spoke words no one expected. The covenant was restored, but not completed. This child will carry strength beyond his father, but if discipline is forgotten again, the land will not survive a second breaking. The king, older now, quieter, felt fear in his bones, because he understood something the young did not. Consequences return when lessons fade. Amadi looked at his son, and for the first time in his life, he feared power. Would the boy grow disciplined or proud? Would strength obey him or consume him? That night, as the child slept, the flame inside the shrine flickered, and for a moment Ikenga's shadow stretched across the wall. Not broken, not whole. Watching. Some consequences end with pain. Others are born into the next generation. In Okwuru, they would soon learn strength can be restored, but prophecy cannot be ignored. This is only the beginning. If you believe strength must be guided by discipline, then walk with us. This is Raw Consequences, where choices echo beyond a single life.